I have Mr. Dan Connolly with me, and we're going to talk about his special foot case. Well, Dan, thanks for coming to the show.
Thanks for inviting me.
Well, you didn't really have a choice.
No, I didn't.
So we've been acquaintances for quite a while in the clinic.
Several years.
Several years, and you kind of had an interesting thing happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
How long has it been now? When did everything start?
Fall of 2015.
Okay, so let's go back to the fall of 2015 and tell everyone kind of what happened.
So I had started an exercise program where I was walking each morning after breakfast, and as I was walking, my foot started getting sorer and sorer over distance.
Yeah.
And then it started to swell, and I was already seeing you for some other things, and so the next time I saw you, I asked you about it, and that was the start of my journey.
Your journey. That was the uh-oh journey, I remember.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting an X-ray that day,
Mm-hmm.
and I looked at the X-ray and I said, uh-oh. And we
Yeah.
don't as doctors, we don't like to say uh-oh too much, but there was a condition initially that I was thinking it was, and maybe it actually was, and that's a condition called Charcot foot.
Mm-hmm.
And just for those that are listening, we're going to explain a little bit about Charcot. Charcot is a condition that can happen when you have diabetes for a number of years, and you lose the sensation to your feet, and then kind of like what Dan was expressing, he did a lot more walking, or was starting a walking routine that was a lot more walking than he was originally doing. And what can happen is that your foot can the bones can kind of break. To say it simply, is it's a broken bone that you don't feel, and you keep walking on it. Mm-hmm. And that's what we originally thought, and that you probably what you had.
Yeah, exactly.
We got some X-rays, and it didn't really respond the way that I thought it was going to respond.
The swelling had gone down, and then all of a sudden, the following summer, the swelling came back and worse.
Yeah, so there's a couple ways of thinking about this. We could say this was kind of two episodes, because originally when I saw you, I said this will probably take 6 months to a year to get better. And for everyone that's listening, I want to show you a picture here. This first picture that you're going to look at is a picture of Dan's foot we gave us with permission. And you can see there's a little red marker where a portion of the bone is kind of eroded away or eaten away. And that's a typical symptom of Charcot foot. So the bone actually breaks down. It becomes so soft it gets broken down. And when we see that, we take people and we totally keep them off of their feet. Were you on a knee roller? Is that what you were doing?
You put me in a crow boot.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, it was a air cast, and we went to a crow boot, and then a knee roll.
Yeah.
With the crow boot.
With a knee roller with the crow boot. So just to know, when you have the signs of Charcot foot, basically the standard, or one of the ways to care for it, is to stay off your foot for 6 months to a year till the bone can solidify. If you walk on this bone, it's kind of like walking on Play-Doh. It's going to change the format of the foot to accommodate to that pressure. And we put people in a crow boot, and a crow boot is basically a clamshell type of a boot with padding on the inside to stabilize the foot and move the pressure away from the foot and move it up the leg. That's what he originally was in. And we showed you that first picture, and we kept him off of it, and then I'm going to show you the second picture here, and you can see that the foot continued to kind of disintegrate in the middle of the foot. Now we're not only missing the second bone, but we're missing the third bone, but that's all normal. It's normal to have this breakdown of bone, and then the bone's going to rebuild back up. And what happened with Dan is that we kept him off of it in one of these knee roller. It basically looks like a rolling chair that you put your knee up on, so you don't put any pressure on your foot. He was very good about it. And one of the kind of aggravating factors for you, Dan, is I think you were retiring about this time. Is that correct?
Retired June of 2015.
Yeah, June. So right before this started, he retired. And you're probably starting to work out to, that's what you're going to do when you retire, be more active and help yourself.
Exactly. I was trying to lose some of the weight that probably I had put on over the last 4 or 5 years working and didn't want.
Yeah. And it caused this problem. And so once everything was kind of looking better, then what happened? This is kind of the confusing part. Then the swelling came back, right?
The swelling came back. and we had a difference of opinion. I remember that about you. Just push. This it hurt more.
Yeah.
It was more painful the second time than it was the first.
Yeah. And I just thought, well, it was more Charcot. It was meaning it just broke down. Maybe he walked too soon, or you were doing too much. But this time, it became swollen, and it was just kind of wasn't responding normally, as it normally would. And then what we decided to do is, instead of just getting X-rays, I think we got an MRI.
Yes.
And then when I got the MRI, it came back as there was some type of a growth in there, right? A soft tissue mass.
Right.
Which isn't that common with Charcot. Normally, Charcot doesn't show a soft tissue mass in there. And then I think we opted on taking a little biopsy.
Yeah.
So we took Dan to the operating room. We made a little incision. We took out some of that mass or what was bone, and I didn't know what was in there. We sent it off to the pathologist, and then it came back with a diagnosis called B-cell lymphoma. Okay, and B-cell lymphoma has nothing to do with Charcot. In what our discussion has been all along is, was it Charcot and then B-cell lymphoma, or was it B-cell lymphoma all along? But regardless, the cancer, the B-cell lymphoma, was found, and so that's where I didn't see you for a while, and you started to have treatment by some cancer doctors. So tell us about that.
So I went into Mass General, saw a doctor in there that specializes in non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He thought it was very treatable. He was very confident that about the outcome. 3 chemo treatments, 30 radiation treatments between mid-January to June of 2018.
And then I'm going to show you a third image here. This is a third image. You can see that all the bones are starting to reappear on the foot. And this is the time when I saw Dan come back in and his bones started to reappear. And this reappearing of bones could have been just the Charcot getting better, because that's exactly what happens when it gets better. But you'll notice on that second bone there, the third bone totally came back. But right where the arrow is pointing, that second bone, you see that little defect in there? I think that defect is where I took the sample. That's right where I did the incision to do the biopsy, and I think part of that bone came back, and that's where that little defect is. I'm going to show you a little picture on the side here. Here's the side of the foot, how it looked initially, and it's all kind of eaten away. You can't even see the bone. It's as if the bone is destroyed. This next picture is where the bone continues to be destroyed. This is where we were unsure what was going on, why his Charcot wasn't getting better. And then finally, it did get better. And everything kind of came back as one big slab. And that's what you have, is you have these bones that were like Play-Doh. They kind of squished down, and then they've healed, and now you have some arthritis in there. And now, are you considered cancer-free? Do you have to have follow-ups every so often?
So I have every 6 months I have to have a CAT scan done. Whatever they call it. It's a CAT scan of my foot, my legs, and my pelvis.
Okay.
So to make sure that there's no cancer in any part of my body, my oncologist, Dr. Abrahamson, has told me that he is very confident that the cancer will be cured. His word, not mine.
Okay.
And the last time I saw him, he says it's in remission. And I asked him why he wasn't using the word cured.
Yeah.
He says it's time. You have to be 3 years cancer-free before I'll tell you that you're cured.
That you're cured. And did he say, is this something that could happen again in different parts of your body, or
Yes.
So
It can come back anywhere.
Anywhere. Any reason why it happened? Did he say?
No. He has no idea why. It's very rare. He said that he had seen it once before on a foot.
Yeah. And
He's the only doctor I have that's ever heard of it.
I've never seen it in the foot, and that's where all along we were thinking it was that condition of Charcot, or possibly a combination of both, because I'm not sure if the lymphoma breaks down the bones and then brings the bones back. That's more indicative, I think, of the Charcot. And now that you're done with the treatment, we had to kind of stabilize your foot because I think you were trying to get into regular foot gear, and that was uncomfortable for you.
It didn't. The ankle isn't very stable. I don't have.
Your balance is off.
Yeah,
a
the
little bit,
balance
right?
is off. Range of motion side to side is just non-existent. I don't have any range of motion in that. So it's a challenge.
And now I'm going to show you what his foot looks like now. This was a recent visit. You can see here, just you're not going to win any beauty contest with that foot, but it's nice. It's a flat foot. When we talk about a Charcot condition, sometimes what can happen is the foot can have look like a rocking chair, and that puts a lot of pressure on different areas, and that's not his foot. But because the foot is so unstable, we had to put him in a brace that looks something like this. This is called an Arizona AFO, and it's just a lace-up brace that goes all the way up, and you put a shoe on it. Usually you have to go up about a half size. So that's one example. This is the kind of the top looking down. You can see that incision here on the second toe, right there, right where that bone defect is, and that is where the original biopsy was done. And at this time, this is what that brace looks like. And this is the actual diagnosis of the large B cell lymphoma. So Dan, now you kind of have if this wasn't found, or could it have processed? It would have just spread to other locations, gone through the whole body.
They were very surprised that there was no cancer anywhere else.
Okay, that's great.
I was very lucky in that sense.
Yeah, and we're very grateful. And how is your health now? And besides the balance thing, your health challenge, you're just like new. Now you can enjoy your retirement.
Everything's relative, but yeah. Not the way I planned to do it. Let's put it that way.
I think it was, but yeah, it could have been a lot worse.
A lot worse.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, I appreciate you coming in to be interviewed and talking about this kind of unique experience that you had, and glad things are going well for you. Great. Thank you so much, Dan.
Thanks.
Hey guys, thank you for watching Healthy Living. You're going to find a few links here I'd like you to click. One is to subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Also, you can learn more. There are some videos here you can see.